Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Dorian Show. Today I have a very special guest with me. He is a black belt in Jiu Jitsu, one of the nicest guys in comedy. He hosts a mic on Fridays at Slate Bar, 6:30?
6:30.
6:30 on Fridays. Give it up for Manny Cabrera. Woo!
Thanks, Dorian. Thanks for having me.
For sure, dude. When was the last time you choked a guy out?
Like, to sleep or just like...
Yeah. Or, I mean, any.
When was it? Saturday?
Saturday? This is training or on the streets?
Training. I've never been in like a street bar fight.
Yeah.
I've almost gotten into one once, and then like when I got out of the bar and like the air hit me, I was like talking to myself in my head. I was like, you're an idiot. You're not going to go fight.
Yeah. How long ago was this?
5 to 10 years ago.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Were you a black belt at the time?
I was probably a brown belt. Yeah.
So pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Knowing that you could probably win.
It was a tall guy, and like I probably had like some Napoleon complex. You know, I was like, hey, this tall guy's not getting out of my way, and we were at a bar.
Yeah.
Right. And there was a girl with me, so I was like, just in case, let me like puff up a little bit.
Yeah.
But then like,
was she impressed?
No, it kind of, I think it went by without anything happening, but
most times things are like that, right? People just kind of
a lot of posturing.
Yeah. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't follow me. He went back into wherever he was because I was on my way out.
What did you say? You were like, meet me outside.
Yeah. No, well, like, kind of.
You did? Oh, shit, dude.
No, well, he was tall, so I was like, looking up at him. And like, it was kind of like...
Do you have cauliflower ears? I know you do.
Yeah, on this side and a little bit on this.
Then?
Yeah, I got this when I was a blue belt. And I didn't think I would get them because my ears were pretty flexible.
Okay, but it's just the rubbing, right?
Yeah, it's the rubbing on the mat, on the other person. I was doing Muay Thai at the time too, so like getting punched in the head.
His ass.
Man, luckily he didn't follow me. I went outside.
Yeah.
The cold air hit me, and I was like, dude, you're an idiot. What if he did come out?
Yeah, then you would have to beat his ass, dude.
Then I would have been like,
he probably saw your ears, and he was... You know what I mean?
It's
some people don't know, but I think most people know.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when like you're at Safeway or whatever, and like the cashier is like, do you train? Blah blah blah. But I've noticed it's only guys that do that.
Yeah.
Never been a girl that was like, do you train? Oh, that's so hot.
Yeah. How long have you been training jiu-jitsu?
06.
Oh wow.
For 16 years. Yeah.
Jeez.
Minus 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you you fell in love with it? Do you still love it as much as you did, you think?
I do. I do. My evenings now are usually like, am I going to train or am I going to do an open mic, or what time's the mic? Like, class will end here. I could make it to this mic if I sign up on time.
Do you train every day?
No. Now it's probably like 3-4 times a week, but like before I was going back into doing like mics.
Yeah.
Like maybe 5-6
Wow.
times.
Are you one of like the better, what do you guys call yourself, practitioners or masters or?
Better
jiu-jitsu.
Better compared to my friends who don't train. That.
Oh, I mean at like the gym. Are you like the top guys where like the coach would be like, hey, Manny's going to show you guys how to...
No, well, I'm fairly new I just switched gyms, so I've been at this gym for about a year now.
But they know you're a black belt?
I mean, they know you're a black belt, yeah, but like, I'm definitely not one that like, hey, Manny, go show, blah, blah, no, I'm just a student there trying to learn too. Yeah, there's always something to learn.
Do you do a gi or do you do no gi typically?
Typically I do gi.
Okay.
Just the schools that I've been to that I've trained at have usually had like 5 days gi, 1 day no gi.
Okay.
So, but I would like to get into some no gi stuff.
What do you think is more realistic to use in like a real life fighting situation?
Like in the street.
Yeah. I mean, the gi's kind of like wearing someone.
Yeah, right. Because we could like grab your collar, or whatever.
Scared me a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to touch you.
Yeah,
Boundaries.
You grab their collar.
Yeah, right. There's always something to grab onto.
Yeah.
Right. And
what if you're fighting a guy in like a spa? You know what I mean? Just naked spa.
And we're like, hey,
grab his balls.
Let's just hug it out, man. We're at a spa. Man. Can I get you some cucumber water? I'm like, what are you mad at me about?
For sure. What do you find the most beneficial out of it for jiu-jitsu?
I mean, obviously, there's the physical aspect of it. You know, like just having the confidence to know that, like I said, I've never been in a street fight.
Right.
But if something were to happen, 60% I could,
60%, that's it?
Well, humbly.
Okay.
Because, I mean, you don't know, like, who's going to be, like, what their body type is, whatever, like. And the crazy thing is, like, if it isn't for a marker like cauliflower, like, you don't know who knows what, right? But yeah, just having the confidence that I could hold my own if something, and just having, as a martial art as a whole, just having that confidence, knowledge, like, if they look at you the wrong way, like, it's not a big deal. Like, if they want your wallet, that stuff, material stuff could be replaced. You get into that whole, like, martial art, like, live to fight another day, right? Like, if you want my car, like, I'm gonna call the cops, insurance, blah blah blah. Like, I'm not gonna fight you over a car. Like,
it's just another option to get out of a situation. Right?
You know.
Do you think like size matters? Like, let's say you got, if some guy's confronting you, he's bigger. Like, maybe he's my size, 230, 6 foot, but like, I've never trained. Like, would you be like thinking like this guy may be dangerous, or would you be like, you're pretty confident even though there's a kind of a size difference?
If we're talking about like training in
not in the
like
gym, in the streets,
in the street, man,
because there are rules in the gym, man.
Right?
You know
no, like sometimes if I am teaching a technique, like there are certain rules, like in a tournament you can't do certain moves, but I'm like, I'll also throw in like, hey, if you're in the street with someone, you know, you can do this move, or hit them in the nuts and get out of there. I'll say I'm confident enough, not arrogant. Like, dude, I'm definitely
beat my ass.
No, definitely,
I like it.
Definitely not. Like, if there's hecklers at a mic, I'm like, I'm gonna take this cord, strangle it.
There you go.
No.
Yeah, I always think. I've trained like a little bit, maybe a couple months. And size does make a big difference. But like, so much of it's skill. Like, I would roll like little guys, and I mean, they can't submit me just because I just keep shucking them off. But then they like, I can't grab a hold of them. Yeah,
I think there's sometimes, like, I'm one of the smaller guys at the gym. I'm like 5'6". Ladies, if you're into 5'6",
on Tinder he's 6'2", though.
Yeah, right. So there's definitely bigger guys. Like, if I try and get on top, they could kind of shuck me off. But like, in my head, like, the guys that use like strength, I'm like, okay, you could do that to me, but are you going to be able to do that to someone your size? Right. So like, sometimes being the smaller guy is a blessing. Sometimes it's a curse, because you're kind of forced to use technique. Like, if we were to grapple, you're probably going to outstrength me, right? I'm not going to be like just using strength trying to push you off me. I got to find some type of leverage, or poke your eye if the rep.
Well, one thing about jiu-jitsu I find it's like so hard is, in the beginning you just get dominated so much. Like, how do you even like progress in the beginning?
I think that's one of those like humbling things,
because I'm just trying to survive. I'm like, keep my limbs close to my body, right? And don't give your back. But I'm just like, just grabbing at me, and I don't know what to do.
The first time I went, like, I was going for guillotines because that's what I saw in like UFC. I don't know how to do this. I've seen people like in MMA trying to do this, and like these, there are smaller guys, smaller than me.
No.
But I think that says something about your character also,
Yeah.
right? Like if you're like this 6 foot 200-pound guy coming in, then like these teenagers are like destroying you.
Yeah.
Like that's gotta play with your ego. Like what? I'm fucking 6 foot 200. This
Yeah.
little high schooler.
For sure.
But if you like come back the next day
Yeah.
and be like, hey, like what that kid did to me, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to defend
yeah,
that. Like props to you for, because the first couple weeks, months, it's
When do you feel like you got better? Like when you first submit some guy newer than you, or
I remember that like it took me a long time in training to submit someone, and
Yeah.
the first time I forget what it was. I mean, it was against another white belt,
Uh-huh.
but I remember texting this girl at the time. I was like, I finally got a submission. Yeah.
I submitted a guy real quick, but he was super new too,
Yeah.
and I just like out muscled him. There's no technique.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think okay, so here's the other thing too. Like when so I just pull my arm like this, and I like anyone thinks like a regular choke, I just like basically had this arm around him and then use this arm to pull it back.
Yeah.
And I submitted him. But like guys have done it a while, like I do that to them and they just don't tap. They're like that's not the correct form. Like you can just do that forever.
There's definitely sometimes in like a newer person or like a lower belt,
Yeah.
like they might have their choke in, but it's like over your chin.
Yeah,
Right? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
annoying, right?
Yeah.
Like because it's a gi and it's like kind of rubbing on your chin. Like
Yeah.
I could still breathe.
Yeah.
It's annoying. I'm not gonna tap to that. So
Yeah.
like sometimes I'll kind of tuck my chin and kind of
Right.
wait it out and see like if they're really trying to wrench it and
Yeah.
get like their arms all filled with blood and
Yeah.
like okay, now they're
Because so much
tired.
is technique. They're like, oh yeah, because the rear naked choke, you're supposed to squeeze with your chest, right?
Yeah, or like bring your elbows together too. Yeah, if they're there,
Yeah.
push your chest
And
out.
that's like an easy. Because my friend, she's like a 120-pound girl doing jujitsu. I don't roll with her, but like once they get like the choking, like you can't get out.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she could choke me in real life, but like she was just like, hey, watch this. Like once she had her arm around me, I was like, it's over.
Yeah, you could.
Like it's quick.
You kind of feel that when you're trying to apply the choke. You're like, oh, I got that good soft part
Yeah.
of their neck. It's not like this bony chin.
Yeah.
I got this neck. Like, yeah.
And there's no way getting out of it.
Yeah, and you just hear the. I'm like, oh, that's good.
How did you first start getting into jujitsu? And
Well, I always wanted to do like growing up. I always wanted to do like a martial art, but like my mom was like a little overprotective Filipino mom's like, you're gonna hurt yourself, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. So once I was an adult and like I had money to pay for like
Yeah.
a martial arts school, I was like looking for a place. I told some friends and two friends that separately they didn't know each other. They both recommended this one gym. World Team USA,
okay.
and like I kind of didn't want to do research. I looked at it.
Yeah.
It had both Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu. I was like,
Nice.
cool, I'm gonna go there. Did my first trial class. I was like, sign me up for a year. And
Those are like the two main things you need to be a successful MMA fighter almost.
right.
I mean, wrestling, I guess.
Wrestling, but it was like, okay, you
Yeah.
got stand up, you got ground.
Yeah. Have you ever wrestled in high school or anything like that?
Nah, just not like on the team, just like
Okay.
high school
messing
guys
around.
just messing around. Yeah.
Dude, I think like wrestling is the one thing. Like before, I would think like, oh yeah, I have a good chance if I get into like street fight because I'm big. But then I realized if someone knows how to wrestle, like I'm done. Like
Yeah. Wrestlers like
there's a crazy strength, and they have
they have
great-
that really good top
positioning.
pressure. Yeah.
That's another thing I don't know about in jiu-jitsu because I'm a heavy dude. I'm like 230, but I don't know how to use my weight. So when I'm on top of a guy, like I'm only like 60 pounds on him.
Yeah.
Because even little guys are just like squirming out, and I was like, "There's no way. I don't know how to put my full."
yeah. I think
Because a lot of it's on my legs. I find like even when I'm on top of them, like I'm not really on top of them. So that's like even hard. To even
I think
get used
that
to.
comes with time because like when you're on top of the person, like sometimes you're on your knees.
Yeah.
Right. But if you go on your toes, so you're not sharing the mat
Yeah.
space on your knees,
Uh-huh.
so that just kind of drives your body
Into them.
into them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And like
I need to go back and train now. Then.
yeah, and if you have like good like training partners,
Yeah.
upper belts, like they'll tell you that, you know,
Okay.
because sometimes you know, pride could get in and be like, oh, you're not going to tell me, you know. But if it's like, if I want to grow, right, like I'd be like, Dorian, like, stick your shoulder into it more. So that's going to put more pressure. That's going to make it harder for me. And now I got to find a way to get out. So it'll just like level. If I have to level up, then that's going to cause you to level up. And that's why.
So
philosophy.
For like, I don't know, how many years? 16 years? Is it 16? No. Yeah.
Yeah. 06.
14?
14.
I don't even know.
15, 16. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever think about like doing professional fighting? Like right when you started and you were starting to get good, because you were doing Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Muay Thai is fun, dude. Once you start kicking that bag.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
you could like mess some people up.
Well, in Muay Thai they have these things called like smokers. Are you familiar?
Yeah, where
they're kind of like amateur exhibition fight, but you still have headgear, the heavier gloves and shin pads, right? So I did a couple of those.
Oh.
Like, so after the first one, like I went in like, okay, and I learned about what a smoker was. I was like, all right, I want to do it just to test myself, you know, make sure I'm learning what they're teaching.
Lie, you know what I mean? They have like a pro fighter just getting more fights.
Yeah. And I heard like at the school, like they would say like our coach would like purposely put you up against someone that's like more experienced. But I mean, that'll only better you. I mean, they're not throwing you in there like, get this guy killed. But, you know, the confidence in like your training, the people that you're training with, you know, so.
So your first smoker fight, how'd you do? Did you win? Was it like a close match?
They don't have, because they're like exhibition, they don't really, you can kind of, if you're watching it, you can kind of tell who won. My first one, I think it was even, I think there was one smoker. I was like, if that was a fight, I think I would have lost that.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
And then like I did an amateur MMA fight.
Oh, nice. So that's a real fight, just no elbows, right?
Yeah, no elbows. It was in a cage.
Okay.
It was, since it was an amateur one, it was 3 minutes instead of 5. And you had to wear a rash guard.
Why?
I don't know. That thin piece. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. How'd you do?
It was a draw.
Oh,
it was
really?
a draw. Because there are no elbows, but I guess the guy threw an elbow.
Oh, so you got
I
a
didn't
point?
feel it, like, and I thought they would have gave him a warning, but they took a point right away. So after 3 rounds, it was a draw, but again, probably would have lost that too if it wasn't.
Did you, after that one, were you like, I don't think I could do this professionally? Or did you were like, maybe I could do it again?
Well, I wanted to, I had another amateur one later on that year, but like the week of, like, I got really sick where I couldn't like get out of bed or anything. So I was like, am I going to be one of those guys, like, you know, not comparing myself to UFC fighters, but like you always hear about fighters that pull out the week of or the night before. And I was like, am I going to be that guy that pulls out like on an amateur level?
Like weight wise for the amateur?
145.
Okay, those are.
Yeah.
What's that? What weight is that? Flyweight? I don't even know. So many weight classes. But so the UFC, the 145s are like where the killers are at. Like
so that's like Max Holloway, Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
But those guys are like professional, so they're cutting like, you know, maybe 20, 30 pounds. I was just like,
that's how much you walk around.
Yeah, I was like, if anything, cutting 5 or 10. You know, and that.
You didn't think about like dropping to like 120, but those guys are so quick.
Yeah, I was
but
like,
you'll have size.
This is amateur. I was like, and those guys have like nutritionists and all that. And I'm just doing this all.
But then the guy you were fighting, was he like way bigger than you?
I mean, he was taller than me.
But do you think that was his like regular weight, or do you think he's like cutting 20 pounds? Too?
No, I don't think he was cutting 20 pounds. Yeah. Okay. And I think he was a belt above me also.
In jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I was a blue belt at the time, and he was a purple.
Did you guys grapple at all, or you guys just punched and kicked each other?
We started off standing, and then he took me to the ground. Like my, I think I depend on my ground game too much, so my takedown defense is horrible.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just kind of let it happen.
He took me down, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try and fight off on my back. And yeah.
So you only got one amateur fight? Or a couple?
One amateur fight, a couple of smokers, and
Did your friends,
a bunch of jiu-jitsu
your friends and family
tournaments.
go watch your amateur fight?
A couple of my friends did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Dude, that
think
would have been wild, huh? Like you felt
Yeah.
great, I'm assuming, after that.
I would have felt better if I won, but
Yeah.
it felt cool, like not to lose.
But just like
Yeah.
being there and like throwing your hardest punches and kicks at someone.
It felt
Yeah.
good, like because it's not because in the gym you kind of you're not going 100 against your
Right,
training
yeah.
partners.
And you got pads, so you don't really
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this is and like feeling that fence,
Oh,
that
yeah,
cage
yeah, yeah.
behind your back, and I'm like, this is low key what it feels like to be a fighter.
Were you nervous when you like first got into the cage?
I was nervous, but at the same time, it was kind of the same thing I felt when I went skydiving. I was like, I was nervous, but it was like,
Skydiving is.
I was like, okay, this is gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do?
Wouldn't
Like, turn
skydiving
around?
be more? Skydiving, you have no control over.
Yeah.
Unless you're trained. Are you skydive
Oh
alone?
no! I just
okay.
went once,
You
and
just wanna
like,
go with the guy. Yeah.
yeah, I was
But at
like,
least you know, like in the cage is like, it's up to you to.
yeah, and it was kind of this like, okay, it's the fence, the
Yeah.
door closed. This is happening, so let's do it.
Did they pay you?
No, it was amateur, so no.
No one gets paid?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Did you like get a clean hit on him, like a punch or something?
Yeah.
How did that feel? Like just punch a guy straight in the face.
It felt good. It felt good. Yeah. I mean, how often do you get to,
Never.
right? That's why I always like try and get my friends that don't train, like, to come out and train, because like sometimes your friends piss you off and you can just like, oh, I'm gonna choke this fucking Dorian was being a fool last night, like, and then after that, like, hey, let's go film this podcast. All right.
Yeah.
It's no ill will. It's like, oh.
Did he get a clean punch at you and right in the face?
Oh yeah, that was the one time like I had like a really bad black eye. It was on my right eye.
That was not the amateur fight.
No, it was.
Oh
yeah.
really? How did that feel? Was that the first time you got punched like square in the face by someone that was intending to?
Yeah. I mean, when we did like fighters class, you kind of ramp up your your punches and especially if you have a fight coming up, like okay, I'm gonna go a little harder. And
but you guys are wearing MMA gloves in the amateur fight, right?
Yeah.
So that's like full fist.
I think there was a lot of adrenaline. One thing I remember I was more worried about, because we weren't wearing shin pads, shin guards, so it's gonna be my shin on, like, I was like, I don't like getting hit in my shin. Like, I don't know how this is gonna feel at like 100, because if I kick you and I hit your elbow, that's like bone on bone. Like, but I think I remember throwing a kick and in my head like, I didn't really feel anything.
Did you throw it hard though?
I thought I threw it hard, but I think it was just more the adrenaline, like, shit, you're in a fight, you're in a cage.
Did you even feel it when they punch you in the face, or it doesn't? Like, you didn't feel it until like afterwards?
I probably didn't. I didn't feel it till afterwards. I think like the face stuff didn't hurt. I remember in a Muay Thai smoker getting kneed in the body, and like later on that night, I was like, I feel that in my stomach. Yeah.
Dang.
But yeah, like that Monday, like, I went back to work. Like, I fought Saturday, but Monday I went back to work, and I went to like, the coffee shop to get coffee before I went in. And like the barista was like, "Oh shit, what happened?" And I was like, I was in a fight on Saturday." And I was like, wait, not like a bar. Like, I don't want to be like too explaining like, well, what happened was, but it's not I'm not a drunk guy at a bar.
So after that, did you decide like no more, or did you kind of thought you were gonna
bird fans?
Or were you thinking about doing another one at that time?
I wanted to do another one, but after that time that I pulled out of the fight, excuse me, I think there weren't that many opportunities anymore for an amateur.
Yeah.
So, but there was still like a bunch of jiu-jitsu competition. So like, I kept doing those. So that
you still do those to this day?
No, I haven't done one since 2019. No, sorry, 2017. Before I got my black belt. Like, so I haven't competed at black belt yet, but
do you think
maybe next year. Next year, I'm planning on doing
Nice.
it next
How's
year.
your record? You do pretty well, or do you?
Nah.
No.
Dude, there was I've definitely lost more times than I've won.
Right.
In like the jiu-jitsu competitions.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of cool seeing like the guys at the gym now that are competing.
Yeah.
And like they're talking about like, oh, I submitted this guy with blah blah blah,
Yeah.
whatever. I was like, man, I only have one submission ever in competition,
Oh,
and
really?
that didn't happen till I was a purple. And this white belt's talking about like,
Yeah.
I armbarred this guy. I was like, man, I didn't get that till I was purple. I
Yeah.
was like,
Did you compete when you're a white belt, or is that how you get new belts? You have to compete.
you don't have to compete. I've never been at a school where they force you to compete. I think, if anything, it helps you
Right.
maybe get there faster.
Okay.
Right? Because if it's like, Dorian's in the gym, like he's beating up all these people, cool, but like,
Yeah.
how is he against like,
People
someone
that
from
never
this
seen-
school? Yeah, you don't know. Because if we train together, right, like, Dorian, he's probably going to pull half guard.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. But if, like, I don't know you, I'm like, oh, shit, this
Yeah.
guy did something I've never seen. And, yeah, I think that helps you, but I don't think it's a necessity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have to compete at the black belt level if you're a black belt, or can you like
No,
go
I-
down one?
Or
Or can you go down a level, like even though you're?
if I'm black, I'm like, hey, I'm going to compete against these Browns.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's some.
'Cause I'm sure there's some like killer brown belts.
Oh,
out there
yeah,
that
yeah,
could be,
no, like,
tapping people out left and right.
There's some competitions like ADCC.
Uh-huh.
Have you heard of that?
No.
It's kind of the highest level of like no-gi grappling, but there's no. It's
No
kind of an
belts?
open,
Oh, okay.
right? So like, I think this year there was a blue belt that competed
I just
in it.
won a bunch, or you just competed in
Well,
it?
it's like one of those. If you win like regional ones, then you get into the
okay.
big one, or or if
Okay.
you're like kind of a known person, you'll get kind of invited to it, or if you won in the past.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you ever think about teaching
Um.
jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. I mean, the last school I was at, like, I would help out every so often.
Oh, okay. But
y-
not
y-
professionally. You don't want to.
Like open up my own school, and
Yeah.
that's like way in the back of my head, like
Yeah.
there's a small part like, hey, what if I had a school, but like I wouldn't know the first thing of like business wise, like,
Yeah.
do we need to borrow money from the bank?
Probably.
Yeah, right, like it.
But it's good money, like knowing how
Yeah.
much I paid to go to my gym at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, and I think if you're a known person, right? Like if I was Manny Gracie, it would be easy
Yeah.
for me to like, but if you're just
Some people just lie though.
yeah, no,
They just say like, I got
kind of
trained by
like
Gracie.
I kind of like seeing those videos. I don't know if you've seen them online or on YouTube where there's fake black belts that get like exposed.
Oh, real black
but-
belts in jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, by like people come in like because they heard that
Yeah.
this guy's a fake black belt, and then they kind of go in and see like the technique they're teaching,
Yeah.
and then like film them and out them like, why'd you say you got your black belt?
Dude,
blah
you
blah
should
blah.
do those. You should be the guy exposing. That'd be so fun, dude.
Then- no, now I'm thinking like, man, I gotta travel to all these places. Like,
Yeah.
there's always like the dream about it, and then like I started thinking about like, okay, what are the logistics, like how are we gonna do this? We gotta have a team to find out like what black belt in Iowa is.
I'm sure people talk about it all the time.
Yeah, you could
There's
find
people
it.
that are like really into jiu-jitsu, they like find a gym wherever they go, even when they're traveling, right?
Yeah, that was one of the cool things. Speaking about teaching, I was in the Philippines, and like I found a gym by the hotel we were staying at.
Okay.
So like I went there to train, like like when you go out with a bunch of friends, it's like,
Yeah.
hey, we're gonna do this, like,
Yeah.
all right, there's a class at 11, I'm gonna go to class, I'll meet you guys lunch, dinner, whatever.
Nice.
So I went to the gym that was like 2 blocks from my hotel
Okay.
to train, and then
They were legit?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was in Cebu, so like the highest belt at that gym was a purple, and I was a
Okay.
brown at that time.
Okay.
So they asked if I wanted to teach some stuff, and I was like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Like,
Nice.
hey, I'm in the Philippines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Teaching my people.
So like a purple belt just opened his own gym.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
But he was like, it was an affiliate of like, a
Yeah.
bigger gym, but I guess,
They didn't have one there.
yeah. So
Okay.
he was the head instructor
Nice.
of that gym, and yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool. You were born in the Philippines, right? We were talking a little bit earlier.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
born there. I was like 2 months old
And then
when
you
I came
came here.
here. Yeah.
How did
Yeah.
how did you guys get here? Like your parents were working? Or?
I guess they got some kind of visa. I forget what it was. I don't think it was a work visa because I don't think they had like a job lined up.
They weren't nurses or anything?
No. Yeah, my mom, the other, she was a postal worker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My sister's the nurse.
Okay.
I got
So you
bunch
guys
of-
just got here?
yeah.
That's cool. But you don't know how they got here? Like, they
Yeah,
just
I
got-
forget. Like, I'm sure like one of my mom's sisters petitioned them,
Oh,
whatever
okay.
process. Yeah, but I don't think it was like.
It's through family.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. How often do you go back to the Philippines?
Man, I haven't been since 2016.
Okay.
And that was the first time I went like on a friend's trip. Because
Okay.
before that, it was always like with family and
Family.
stuff. So we're like, oh, we got to go visit these cousins.
Mm.
And actually in 2000, I spent a semester in med school over there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You were
yeah.
doing med? And you were going to become a...
Yeah, because
Dude, how many degrees do you have?
two, and then after the bio degree.
I don't think you mentioned med at all.
Well, I didn't finish it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like I went to after I got my degree in biology. I guess I was always pre-med. Like I didn't
Yeah.
get into any places
Okay.
out here, so I applied
Okay.
to some places in the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
Went out there, did a semester, and now I'm here doing open mics.
Nice. Do you ever get into like boxing? Because I know with Manny Pacquiao and stuff like
Yeah.
that's huge.
No, I never got into it enough to like seek out a school
Okay.
and stuff like that.
It's always MMA that you were into.
Yeah, because I think when he was coming up, I was already kind of into Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is
And I
that
think-
so? That was the longest you spent in the Philippines, right? You just lived there for a semester.
Yeah. Other than that, it was like 2 weeks here,
Okay.
3 weeks
Do a lot
there.
of like Filipino people like go back and live there for like extended periods of time? Like I feel like I've met a few, but it might just have been like Samson.
Yeah, he was.
But like now, Mike. I don't know if you've met him, Mike Libu now.
Yeah, I know who he is.
So he's moved, but he's building like homes there, so that's why he has to stay.
Yeah, because I remember when I first started going out to Mike's, I would see him, and then for a while I wouldn't see him,
Yeah.
and then I
He
heard through
came
the
back.
grapevine that he was
just-
out there.
He recently went back, but yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
That's not something you would want to go. Like just go there and live for like a couple of years and.
Sure, yeah,
Yeah.
I would, yeah. Like again, I'm thinking of like, okay, logistically, what am I gonna? I mean, I could work from home from there,
Yeah.
but I'd be.
I mean, Samson opened like a comedy club or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that, right? That was
Yeah.
that was wild.
Yeah, it would be cool
Uh-huh.
to go out there for a couple of years. Yeah, I don't know if I could stay out there
Yeah.
forever.
Well, the time
ever.
zone is way different. Depends if your job is like you need to clock in a certain hours.
Yeah.
So you grew up in like Daly City area?
Yeah. So when we came here, kind of been in Daly City ever since, pretty much.
Whole life.
Yeah.
Is like the community, the Filipino community, pretty tight? Like you guys.
In Daly City.
Yeah, well, I know there's a lot of Filipinos there, but I mean like in terms of like community things, like
Yeah.
like are you guys like are you active in like community stuff with like other Filipinos?
Well, not in Daly City,
okay.
but I'm involved like Filipino community-wise with a Bindle Stiff studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you met all the like Deb and Rhoda. And
Yeah,
Samson.
yeah. Samson, yeah. Samson
How'd you get
was,
how'd you get into that?
in college, do they have a PCNs where you went
What's
to college?
PCN?
It's like a Filipino cultural night, like where the Filipino club on campus would like.
Maybe. I went to
Yeah.
Santa Cruz.
I wonder if they had one.
So, I don't know if there's a lot of Filipino people there, but I'm sure.
Yeah.
Even if there's like 20 people, they have
Yeah.
a club, you know. But I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So like, one of the activities we did was like go to this theater called Bindlestiff Studio,
Oh, okay.
and like that was my first kind of outside of college like
yeah.
theater experience, and it was like Filipinos, and they were doing.
Is that everywhere? Because you were telling me, I was looking it up, and they have that Bindlestiff theater almost in like every state, or is it just?
No, just San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know
and
why
I
I
think-
looked it up, and I think I found, but it might be something else.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like a Filipino based org.
Yeah, it's a Center for Filipino American Arts.
Okay.
It was. I don't know if it's still the only theater space specific for Filipino American arts, but at one
Okay.
time it was.
Okay.
And the cool thing, like, it wasn't just like traditional Filipino stuff. It was just like stories written, acted, directed by
Okay.
Filipinos. So just by being that makes it
Yeah.
Filipino American.
Nice. When did you join that?
Got in like 02.
Oh, damn! You've been there for a long time.
Yeah. And like
Nice.
before that,
Did you know Samson and them from that?
well,
long
I was
ago?
always watching like whatever plays or comedy shows, music shows they were having.
Okay.
I would go, and like I didn't know like how to get my foot in the door.
Yeah,
It wasn't like I was going to the show and then I wasn't hanging out like, hey,
I'm Filipino.
I'm Manny. How do I get involved? Like,
yeah.
nah, I wasn't doing that. But then Samson had they put out an email for a stand-up comedy workshop,
Okay.
and I was like, shit, I've always wanted to do that, and it's at Bindlestiff, so this is my foot in the door. So I took it, and then I
Okay.
never left.
And that was 02.
Yeah.
Dang.
So I first started doing comedy with them, and then gradually moved to acting, and then writing.
Oh shit. What have you gotten any like acting stuff?
Not outside of Bindlestiff.
Okay.
Like all my acting stuff has usually been at Bindlestiff or like Bindlestiff affiliated folks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing with
yeah.
writing. You just write for them, or
Yeah. Yeah.
what do you typically write?
Like typically write rom-com type of stuff.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
And so you put on like a full-on play.
Yeah, because they usually have like one acts or like sketches.
You did a whole play, or you wrote like a sketch or an act?
Or one, like, sometimes, like right now they're having this show called Stories High, which is a culmination of like a bunch of different one acts that
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
necessarily like connect. Like I'll have
Okay.
my one act 10-minute play is about
Okay.
surfing at the beach. Your
Okay.
one act could be about opening up a restaurant.
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
it is, right?
Okay.
So whenever like I tend to try and write something, it's usually some rom-com-y type of
Nice.
thing.
Like a 10-minute thing?
Yeah.
Do you guys have anyone like ever written like a full like hour play?
Yeah, we've had a handful of folks that like wrote full-length plays and debuted them there.
Nice.
Over the pandemic, they had a full play writing workshop like
Okay.
through Zoom, and then so I took that and
Nice.
like I finished my first only full-length play.
Are you gonna put it up?
I'd like to. We'll see. Like,
How do
you know.
how do you get your play put on in the theater?
I guess you gotta write a proposal. How do you guys, Bindlestiff? How do you do a?
It's a nonprofit, right?
It's a nonprofit, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm sure there's some
Is
submission
it
like.
super competitive to get your stuff on. Are they always doing stuff
Um,
like productions?
there's usually productions going on like
Okay.
regularly,
Yeah.
and sometimes there are outside rentals. Like if like you had your own
Yeah,
theater group, but you didn't have a space and you wanted to like put up a play, I'm sure there's
Okay.
I don't know the logistics behind it, but like,
Nice.
hey, my name is Dorian. I wrote this play about,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I got funding from SF Arts Commission, whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
And then,
Okay, cool, dude.
yeah.
Dude, I want to see your play. Are you proud of it, or did you kind of shy to show it off? The full play you wrote.
I was proud of it because it's like, prior to that, like I was always just writing like, 1 act, 10-minute
Yeah.
plays. But to see like, shit, like
Yeah.
I could write a full length play.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've had like stage readings of it. So like
Okay.
people have heard it,
Okay.
in a table
Do they
read.
give good feedback, or people just kind of just like, oh, good job?
Yeah, no, there's definitely good feedback because sometimes, from my experience, like I'm so zoned in on like, trying to build this one character.
Yeah.
And then sometimes someone will ask like a simple question, like, what if he didn't answer the phone? Like, shit, well,
Yeah.
what if he didn't answer? Would that change the whole trajectory of the play? Or, so, yeah, I like the feedback.
So is the Bindle Stiff thing, is it only for Filipinos, or could other people join if they want to be?
No, definitely, no, it doesn't. You don't have to be Filipino to join or be part of
it. That's cool,
yeah,
dude.
definitely.
I definitely want to see your play, and you could come back and sell it here. And we are there shows free, or they have to like donations, or you have to pay a fee, or set by the?
Usually, like for like a show, usually they're like really affordable, like $20, 15, 20 bucks. For depending on what show it is, and then if you want to pay more, like
do you still go to that now that you're doing stand up and jiu-jitsu?
Like I still go to like watch.
Okay.
Yeah, actually on Saturday I'll be going to the closing night of that Stories High show.
Nice.
And like it's a lot of new people that I've never seen, so that's kind of a cool thing of like seeing this influx of new artists, talents come into the theater. Yeah.
Nice, dude.
I mean, we've done a comedy show there before, so like hopefully
like stand-up comedy or sketch? Okay.
I mean sketch, but recently, like I think it was sometime this year we did like a stand-up show, and I think those are relatively easy to put on, right? Because you don't need to move props around. Or
did a lot of people come out to watch, support?
Yeah, and it's cool because it's a small black box theater, so like
even better.
Yeah, so it's really intimate and stuff. Yeah,
it's kind of like Edinburgh Castle.
Yeah, not as dark.
Okay.
I haven't been to Edinburgh in a while, but is it still really dark? Yeah.
Well, I mean, James runs it. He turns on the lights a little bit. Okay. How many seaters are the theater?
Don't quote me on it. I want to say 60, 70.
Dude, that's good.
Don't fact check me on that.
So you guys went on the show. Was it like, if you guys filled out the room, or it was pretty good?
Yeah. It was. I think we only did it one night, so it was kind of cool.
Damn. That would be a great place to put on a show. You guys could get that out.
Yeah, like I'm sure, like if we look at what the calendar has, like what shows they have, like.
And there's always a crowd coming out to support, it sounds like.
Yeah. It's always a good crowd. Like, we've been in that neighborhood for...
What neighborhood is this?
In the South of Market.
Oh, okay.
185 6th Street, in between Mission and Howard.
Shout out, dude. Nice.
MindleStiffStudio.org.
Cool. Everybody check that out. But yeah, we're at 45 minutes. Is there anything else you want to say before we head out? It's getting chilly. Dog is peeing right in front of us.
Oh, I wish we could have seen that. I know, yeah. Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to your shows. You plugging your shows at
that's right. I do next show October 14th at Emperor Norin's Boozland. Friday, 7 o'clock. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, we don't fill it up like you guys do, but yeah. But thanks for being on, dude. Definitely have you on again.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, dude. Cool.